Hello everyone, and welcome to Anime-chan. Today I'm going to be reacting to... My cat is being crazy. Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2, episode 12. So this is the last episode, but I already heard about part 3 being announced. And I also heard that some people are like they have a problem with it. Which I don't really understand. It's like a trilogy movie, but only instead of 3 movies, it's 3 parts to a season, which is like the final season of probably one of the most popular anime of all time. So I don't know, I think that is cool. I'm glad that they will take the time to make sure that they finish the show without rushing it, you know? I mean, I heard that they also could have done a movie. It's not like there's a lot of episodes left. But for example, season 3 part 2 had 10 episodes, so they could end it at 10 or 8. They don't need to do a 12 episode part, right? So yeah, I'm not sure if it was announced how many episodes it will be, but I know that part 3 of the final season, so the final part of the final season has been announced, and I'm pretty excited. As you can see, I'm wearing my Eren hoodie that I got around about the time that I was watching season 3, the beginning, the middle, I don't know. So it's for all time's sake. He used to be my favorite character, not just of Attack on Titan, like one of my favorite characters ever. And as I have said before, I have scored this show 10 out of 10 for characters almost every episode of season 4. So I feel like some people get confused with favorite character versus like best character, or are they well written? Just because a character isn't a favorite anymore doesn't mean I think they're poorly written or anything like that. As I have shown you with my episode scores, I will just show you one more time. I have shown this in the past. My character scores is like 9, 9.3, 10, 9, 9.5, 9, 9.5, 9.5 is like almost a 10, 10, 10, 9, 9.5, 9.5. Like, obviously I think the characters are well written. I'm not sure why I keep needing to defend that. But then again, the people who I need to defend myself against are people who don't listen to my reviews and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I don't really need to defend myself, because they don't care about discussions. These people are crazy, I have noticed. If you're not crazy, I'm not talking about you. Don't take offense. Like, okay. But yeah, I'm wearing my hoodie for all time's sake because we haven't really seen a lot of him this season. At all. I mean, from season 4, it's kind of the perspective has shifted very intentionally. And I mean, we have talked about all of this to exhaustion. I have my notes there for everyone to read, 300 plus pages. You can press Control F if you want to search a specific episode, a specific word, or something if you want my opinion on something. Most of my thoughts are there. But I will also be reading the manga at some point after the anime finishes, and then I'll probably add on to my notes and do a manga review video or something if anyone is interested in that. But I really love this show, and I think that it is deserving of all the time that I've spent kind of like sharing my opinions, listening to other people. Even though in season 4 part 1 I think I did give too much time and attention to the wrong kind of people. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into it. I'll do a reaction and then probably review separate. Since this is the end, I believe there will be a review. But yeah, let's just get started and see where it goes. Ah, the bird from the beginning.
Azumabito 様のお屋敷までご案内いたします。 おにゃんこぽ
無事についてよかったよ。どうだい、ここがファーレ最大の港町で。
だよ、聞いたろ来る前に。おーい、まずいよ、見られてる。
今絶対田舎者だと思われた。
Wow! Oh, I forgot. I was gonna say he's so tall, but I forgot how short Levi is. That's for. I forgot I was going to move my ace for today. Because I have Levi and Mikasa figures from a friend Chris. So let me just move them. In the last episode I said, because we got a little flashback from this time, like just one visual, and I was like, I wish we got to see that. So I'm really glad that we do get to see it.
そんなまさか人参買ってる。
すごい人の数。ねえエレン、何があるかわからないから私のそばを離れないで。やら、いい匂いが。ニコロが言ってるやつかもな。あと3つください。
Oh, cute!
エレンも食べて。
アイスか。
知ってたの？
親父の記憶で知ってるだけだ。収容区の LDAG はめったに食えない。壁の外はこんなに広いのにな。
私たちは気づかなかった。もしくは気づきたくなかったのだろう。
それはお前の財布じゃねえぞ。
それだ。このガキ、また敵国の移民か。どうやってここに来た。紛れ込んできたんだろう。言葉が通じてないな。海に放り投げるってのはどうだ。いや、右手をへし折ってやろうぜ。二度とスリができないようにな。
Isn't there real places in the real world that cut people's hands off for stealing? Oh, that seems a bit very harsh.
夢に対して生きてる俺たちの問題だ。何よりユーミルの民かもしれねえ。ここ数年どの国も血液検査に躍起になってるからな。悪魔の血がその辺に紛れてちゃ夜も眠れたもんじゃねえよ。
Nobody could sleep. Wait. This is why countries around the world have been frantic with blood tests for years. Whoa, I never even considered that. Blood tests, like tasting them and stuff to... Even if they were to hide who they are, they can't if they're forced to do stuff like blood tests and yada yada yada.
血液検査に躍起になってるからな。悪魔の血がその辺に紛れてちゃ夜も眠れたもんじゃねえよ。おい、あんた何をしている。
誰がスリだと言った。俺はお前の財布じゃねえと言っただけだ。このガキの姉貴の財布だってな。
いやー、複雑な家庭なものでね。ね、お姉ちゃん。ああ、弟がご迷惑をおかけしました。
ふざけんな。そんなデタラメ。行くぞ。おい、待て。
かつてのエルディア帝国全盛時代におきましては、世界の上流層の中でユミルの民の血を取り込むことが高貴であることとされていました。それが帝国の衰退とともに彼らが国を追われる立場となり果てたのです。これが壁の外でのエルディア人の現実。そして
So something... Wait. Having a subject of Amir was bloodline. So something that used to... Something that used to be proof of nobility has become something you are persecuted over. That is like, I still need a little recap of like the timeline. 2,000 years ago, the end versus the end of that war, you know, the war between Titans and that king on the rest of humanity. When did that end? Versus okay, then they at the end of that war they left for Paradis. How long have they been on Paradis? Like, these are things that were shared already, but I kind of forgot the timeline. Like, not that it makes any difference really, but just to get clarity.
そしてパラディ島から友好を図る本計画も極めて困難であると言わざるを得ません。かといって和平の道を諦めるならジークの謀略に加担するしかなくなります。彼に我々の運命を委ね、ヒストリアと生まれてくる子供たちを犠牲にするしか。もちろんそんな未来を迎えないために私たちはここにいる。
エレン、あなたは自分が敵の最重要目標だってことが分かっているの？みんなであなたを探し回って。市場の少年、何があったの？
まだ何も。
どういうこと？ここは
戦争で居場所をなくした人たちが集まって暮らしている。
The war?
俺たちもそうだった。ある日突然日常が終わって何もかもが奪われた。全ての自由を奪われるんだ。
医者なり日中。
もてなしてくれるみたいだ。
何やってんだてめえ！バカじゃねえのか！
ちょうどよかった。
Wait, wouldn't these people get caught up in the rumbling too? The people that had their freedom taken away from them? So, do you not care about them? Or are they just fodder? Oh, I see what happened. Eren was having like, oh, these people also had the same fate as us. And then that kid bumped into him and he was like... I kid. Oh.
島の悪魔どもに他なりません。忌むべきは100年前よりあの島に逃げた悪魔。我々の敵はあの島の悪魔なのです。
あの日からエレンは私たちの元を去った。その後彼から届いた手紙にはジークに全てを委ねると記され、
どこからが始まりだろ
う。お
あそこか。いや、どこでもいい。全ては俺が望んだこと。全てはこの先にある。世界を滅ぼす全ての敵をこの世から一匹残らず。
See, it's not just your enemies, it's everyone, but okay?
する。
そんなの間違ってる。島の外の人全てが敵じゃないのに、あなたのお母さんみたいに突然なんで殺されるのかわからない人がほとんどなんだよ。
分かってる。でも憎しみによる報復の連鎖を完全に終結させる唯一の方法は、憎しみの歴史を文明ごとこの世から葬り去ることだ。
私はエレン、あなたを何としてでも止めないと。二度と胸を張って生きていくことができない。
耐え難いなら始祖の力で記憶を操作する。それまで。
So he's become a dictator. You don't have to agree with me, but if you don't, I will force you somehow. I've explained it before, but I don't think that this plan will end the cycle. It will just create a new cycle. But I won't go into detail about it again now. I guess I'll just briefly repeat my thoughts on that in the review video.
お前が黙っていれば
そんなこと
できるさ。お前はあの時俺を救ってくれた。世界一悪い子なんだから。
Wait, what?
悪い子なんだから。お前はあの時俺を救ってくれた。
世界一 World number one.
世界一悪い子なんだから。
悪い Bad? You're the baddest girl in the world? What does... Is this him flirting? You're the baddest girl in the world. No, I'm joking. It's not that. You're the number one, the world's worst. Is it because of her role and how they want to use her? This is an interesting line. Would you care to share your interpretation? Because I know that it can't be that. It's probably something different, but I just don't get the context. I'm thinking it's the world's like right now.
俺が死んだ後もずっとあいつらの人生は続く。続いてほしい。ずっと。幸せに生きていけるように。
But do you care about what they want though? Like, I think that's really important. If you really love someone, you care about what they want, not just what you want for them. It's like parents. Even if your intentions, you want your kid to live a good life, so you try and force them to become something like an accountant or something that you think will keep them happy, or like my dad wanted me to be a teacher because then you will always have a job and the government blah 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 blah. Like, it doesn't matter if your intentions are good. Like it's if you really love someone, you should also think about what they want. Right? You can't force them. Oh, you don't agree with my actions? Well, then I will use my special power to force you to think like me, or to force you to... Like, I don't really think that that is a good kind of love. I think that is manipulative and bad. Understandable, whatever. Like, okay, I understand, like, my dad loves me and he wanted me to have, like, a different job and do this and do that. But that is not... wouldn't give him the right to, like, force me to do something or... take something away from me in order to force me to make certain decisions. Like, I think that if you truly love someone, I don't know, you take their desire, them into consideration. Like, he wants them to live a long and happy life, but he's making decisions for them. His whole thing is about freedom, 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 but if he says, oh, if my dad says, oh, I care about your happiness, and forces me to do something, then even if he can genuinely say he cares about my happiness and that's why he's forcing me to do this or that, does he care about my freedom, my individuality? Like, there's a lot to unpack here.
世界連合艦隊。この地球上に存在しうる最も巨大な大砲のほぼ全てが今ここに集結した。
人類の英知のすべてが同じ目標に狙いを定めている。この奇跡を叶えた艦隊が阻止できないなら、これを止める手段はもう人類に存在し得ない。
It wasn't I wasn't expecting them to swim. But what else were they supposed to do? Holy. Wait. Are you telling me that this is all the world's cannons, this is the best they can do, and they're being like wiped out like that? So my point is, was it really necessary to attack the whole world if every single cannon can't stop them? Like, did they really have to do the rumbling in that moment? I have a lot that I want to say, but it hinges on other things that I've said that I need to like re-say just to give context, so it will take too long, but I will leave it in the review. Holy crap. And there's still people that say that he's not an antagonist. Okay. I mean, considering that this season was from season 4, we were from the other perspective this whole time. I don't think there's an argument that can convince me that he is not an antagonist. And then it's so funny when you consider the first part of this episode was like, has he even ever really changed? Has this always been who he was? But sometimes you don't notice things, you don't realize certain things until you look at it in retrospect. Like, there's no way for us to have known because of our the perspective that we got from the beginning, right? Like, nothing that, well, okay. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought that was Historia. Where the fuck is Historia? Like, we saw her just for a bit in this episode, and then, like, where is she? What has she been doing? Like, 2023. Okay, next year. Great. Give me some time. Maybe I should read the manga like from chapter 1 up to where we ended here. I'm not sure if they swapped some things around. You know what? What came to mind while watching those people run away from what they were told to fear, what they were told was coming. Because if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just gonna briefly recap here, Zeke was the one who encouraged Willie to do that speech and declare the war, right? And Zeke was working with Eren because Eren wanted it all to happen faster because he only had 4 years to live. So he wanted, so didn't they? Because everyone keeps saying, oh, but Willie declared war, Willie declared war. But I mean, wasn't he encouraged to declare war by Zeke, who was working with Eren? Like, I don't understand that part entirely because his whole plan seems to be, so like his whole attack seems to be spurred on from the declaration of war, but the declaration of war was encouraged by Zeke, who was working with Eren. Like, I don't understand that he initiate his own, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. That's why I want to read the manga. I feel like there's lots of details that I could pick up on if I were to do that. I think what I'm going to do is I have a whole year. So I'm going to finish Tokyo Ghoul. I'm reading Tokyo Ghoul at the moment, which is amazing, by the way. Lots of similar themes. I'm like almost 100 chapters into Tokyo Ghoul. The manga is amazing. I mean, art style and everything. Would highly recommend it if you haven't read it. As I said, it does touch on similar themes. But what I was thinking here is like, Eren is talking about how he's gonna put an end to the cycle, but this is like epitome of continuing the cycle. Like, it is exactly what happened, what King Fritz did, right? He launched this all-out attack on the world, but he was eventually somehow defeated, and then the wheel turned, and now it's like, here we are again, the people staring back at the scariness, freaking like titans once again. And like, if King Fritz could be defeated, right? If King Fritz didn't succeed in purifying the world, creating this better world, in whatever was going on in his head, I don't know. He wanted to create the better world. He wanted to create or rule the world. I don't know. But whether or not their intentions are the same, their methods are very, I will use the power of the Titans to hurt the world. And then the world was hurt, but King Fritz was luckily, because there's never going to be, everyone agrees with one guy, right? There's always, never, ever will that happen. That is the whole point of the story, where Erwin said, as long as there is more than one person in this world, people will fight. As long as, because people have different beliefs, right? And that's why we need to fight better. Fight in ways that don't, like, how do you say? Fight fairly, if that's even possible. Okay? Because if we're gonna fight, let's do it better in a way that, that's why we have judges and juries, so that we can, in the best way that we can, make sure that you are punished accordingly, and hopefully a punishment that doesn't perpetuate bad behavior, perpetuate suffering, but rather like a reformative, if you can say it that way. Like, there's a lot of discussions to have here, a lot of better ways to go about things. But anyway, so King Fritz, obviously not everyone was just on board with his whole plan, so he got defeated, and then because of what he did, now the people the people who he oppressed now oppressed people, anyone that, you know, is linked to King Fritz, even if it's like 1% of freaking DNA, I don't know. Okay, but you get what I'm saying. The oppressed have become the oppressors. That's the whole cycle. Now Eren, even if his reasoning is different, he doesn't want to rule the world. He wants to purify the world. He wants to make the world better Fritz wanted to make the world better. Their definitions are different, their intentions are different, but their methods are very similar. So now Eren uses the power of the Titans to do that, to make the world a better place. For the people who he says he loves, but I'm sorry, I prefer the kind of love that doesn't tell me what I want, or if you want something different than I want for you, then I will control you with my mind. Like, I don't think that's good love. I'd rather not have that love, but okay. So he now, for different reasons, uses the power of the Titans to do horrible things to the world, and now you think everyone's just this is gonna happen, and then afterwards everything's just gonna be fine. He thinks that's really gonna stop this cycle. He doesn't think that there is even like one person or two people that is still on the island that is going to look at the destruction of the world and resent him. Sure, they've shot everyone who didn't immediately fall in line with them. Yes, they're dead. The guy next to Onyankopon who died before Onyankopon. But there are people who lied. There are people who follow them out of fear. You don't think that they'll make their own little rebel alliance like you once were a rebel alliance and overthrow that government because they were corrupt inside the wall? You don't think that I don't know, man. It just seems a little bit... like, people keep calling me naive to think that there's a different solution to this, which, you know, I've given some thoughts on that in notes, previous videos. Wait. People call me naive, but I think that he's naive to believe that this will end the cycle. Like, no, it won't. People will resent you. People will look at this world. Even people who might have agreed with you in the beginning because they were scared are gonna... There will be people who have survivor's guilt. There will be people who... But okay. I guess this is happening and we'll see how it turns out. I do believe that in the same way that King Fritz was defeated and the Titans the Titans that he used, King Fritz, who once ruled the earth or just hurt the earth, whatever, destroyed it, they were defeated. So I think that it can happen again. And now it will only be ever more difficult to... It will only be ever more difficult to join forces with the rest of the world, because now for the second time Titans are destroying the world, and now it's not just a memory for these people or a scary story. Now it's something that they saw happen. But if Eren's friends are the ones that's going to be that saves the world, that is their chance to... But even if they do end up being the ones that save the world, they're just gonna be the same as... Wouldn't it turn out the same as Willy was? Willy was like in the... He was... Even though they were subjects of Ymir, they were like good subjects of Ymir, and they're on the human side, and they are not scary, but the rest of them are scary. So they will just maybe take up the place that take up the role in society that Willy had in society, but they could use their influence for better than Willy did. And if that is Eren's whole plan, well, holy shit. I would have still wanted to tell them. Okay, but... You know, it's so difficult. I don't know if I should do a separate review video, but I don't know if there's enough. I already took so much. Has Eren changed? That is something to discuss. he looks like he's, in the beginning when we saw them enter Marley, or he looks like he's kind of given up on life already, right? And we know why. Because he's seen everything. He's seen everything, which I still don't understand. It sounds to me kind of like a cult leader where, you know, have you ever heard about those cults that do like these group suicides because the cult leader had a vision or something? Like, it sounds to me like that. But I mean, he's not trying to suicide his cult. I'm just saying, I don't understand his power yet. He's seen everything, but he hid things from Grisha. He lied to Zeke. I don't know what to think yet. I don't understand his power. So, I will need to read the manga. And we need to see more. For the first time, we heard a little bit again from his perspective for the first time in a long time. So I'm sure that in the final part, we'll get more of that. So I'm looking forward to it. Blood test, timeline, the OST was great. There was talks about Armin and, remember with the lady in her house? Armin and Hanj, there was talks about their plan, but I thought they didn't have a plan. But as I mentioned before, they did have a plan. It was just not happening as fast as Eren wanted. Talking about the cycle, that they have to do the rumbling now. Like, it seems to me, if that was the best that the world could do, that was all the, like, the strongest cannons in the world all together, they couldn't even stop what seemed like a quarter of the rumbling. So was all of this really necessary now? Like, if the world even was gonna come for them, and then without Zeke and Eren encouraging Willie to do that speech and declare war now and then now. If it was going to happen in the next 4 years, would the world ever have really stood a chance against that rumbling? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, even if the world was going to target them directly, they didn't stand a chance, clearly. So, did we need to... Why did Zeke need to encourage Willie? Why did all of this have to be rushed? I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like everything is things that will be answered in the last part, because there's so much we don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm definitely going to read the manga after I finish Tokyo Ghoul. And what I'm thinking is, I'm gonna put this video out there first, and I'm gonna score the episode and just do a quick score of the season, and then depending on the feedback and the discussion that happens, I could do my review video, because I've reviewed it, I've talked about it so much this whole season already. So maybe it will be more like a discussion video once, you know, I see your thoughts on the episode, your questions for me. The only difficult part is, like, there are people that know the things that are, like, I don't know how many episodes left, how many chapters, I don't know. So there are people that know those things. It's very difficult to have the conversations with them, because it's like, let's say we have a maze, and we can either go left or right, and this is supposed to be fun, and you know, one of those escape rooms. And it's let's say it's an escape room, but it's a maze. We're in a maze part. I don't know. And there's a right and a left, and we have to, like, decipher clues. But now, one friend has actually come to do this escape room before. So they wanted to do it with us, with our group. But obviously, they've done it before. So they're like, oh, we have to go here because da-da-da-da. But then I'm like, no, we have to go right because da-da-da-da. But they know the answer, so obviously they'll choose left. And obviously they have seen things before that led up to why we need to go left. But so we can have all the discussions we want, and I can have good reasons why I believe we should go right. But because they've seen, so it's difficult to have a conversation with someone like that. You see what I'm saying? So my mods will be there to pre-approve comments, make sure that no one is spoiling or hinting, because even if you don't intend to, there's people that do. they point out things or set up expectations or ask questions that's meant to lead you to a certain conclusion. So yeah, just be careful of that. So I'll score the episode and then I'll just do an average score of the season. Check my scores. I don't have a lot of time. I have literally 5 minutes of this video left, so it was less than I expected, but it was still very good. And it was great to see, you know, finally hear something from Eren again. Okay, so I would say story, there's still so much that we don't know, and this was just the final episode of a middle part. So I'm gonna say 9 for story, 9 for characters, 8.5 for visuals, 9 for audio, and investment 9.3. Yes. Okay. Oops. I pressed the wrong button. There we go. 9.3. That gives us an overall score of a 9 for the final episode of the final episode of part 2 of the 4th season. So now we have to do an average score. My average score might not be the same as my overall score, but I think it will be very similar. So let's see, from episode 1, I had an 8.5, 9.4, 9.5, 10 for episode 4. I'm curious how many 10s I had. So that's 1 10. Episode 5 is another 10. Episode 6 is a 9.1. Episode 7 is an 8.7. Episode 8, 8.7. Episode 9 was a 9.5. 10 was an 8.8. 11 was a 9.3. And 12 was a 9. I had 1 10 out of 10 episode for the season. It was episode 4. It was flawless to me. That's an overall score of 9.2 for the season, which I think is a great score. I'm curious. We have a part 1. So my season 4 part 1 average score was also a 9.2. This was part 2. Oh, they have the same score. 9.2, 9.2. We have 1 part left. The first season had 16 episodes. We had a 9.2, 9, 9, 9.1, 10 for episode 5, 9.5, 9, 8.8, 9.3, 9.1, 9.3, 9.2, 9.2, 9.5, 9.4, 9.5. So we had the 1 10 out of 10 for season 4 part 1 and a 1 10 out of 10 for season 4 part 2. Episode 4 versus episode 5. And overall, both average scores a 9.2. Interesting. Very consistent. To me, that says that the show is very consistent. And then I have my current score on a 9.2. Oh, I think that was because I think around episode 8 or something, I did an average score and it was also around 9.2. I don't think these last 4 episodes really changed anything because, as I said, the scores are very consistent. It keeps being between, like, very close to 9 to almost 10. It's like 8.5 to 9.5. The scores are very consistent. And I don't even think the lowest score is 8.5 for season 2 part 1. That's the lowest score. And that was for episode 1. I will see if I can add this document. You can look at my favorites. I haven't done the favorites list for season 4 part 2. I will have to rewatch it before I do that because I'm too focused on the story, really. Okay, wait, I have 2 minutes left, so let me just. As a whole, judging it as a whole, I would say the story is a 9.5. The characters are like a 9.6, if not a 10. I'm sure it's going to end on a 10, but I'm still giving it a little room because I'm not sure about things yet, right? This is only part 2, and I feel like there's just mysteries that I need solved before I can give a perfect 10. The visuals for the season were like, there were 10 moments and there were some 8 moments. So I'm going to give an overall average of a 9 for visuals. There was 10s and there were 8s. Audio, I would say 9. Yes. And enjoyment / investment, 9.5. That would, yeah, I think that's it probably is a little bit higher, but I think this is a difficult one. Enjoyment, I think my investment is a 10, but enjoyment is a bit difficult one to score. But I'm not going to overthink it. It feels like a 9.5. That gives me an average score of a 9.3 for season 4 part 2. And I really have to end it. But if you want, you can check my annual list to see my scores for all the seasons. Maybe I'll add that in my notes. So thank you for watching with me. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts. And then I will let you know if I'm going to do a review video. Bye.